The biggest problem, I guess the biggest problem right at this point to me would be all these people coming in across the border.
What is the issue with the people coming across the border? Are you afraid of them?
I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are, and now they keep showing that the ones that are coming are all the age of young men who could fight. So do we want an army against our army?
What is it about the illegals that's so problematic?
They come in not wanting the American dream. Like years ago, the illegals came in for the American dream. They came here to work and make a better life for them and their family.
But I thought that's what they're crossing now. They all say, we're escaping violence in Ecuador and Honduras and all these sort of places.
To me, they're coming in to ruin this country. We're going to get attacked in the middle of this country because of some of the illegals that we can't vent are coming in, and that's their way in to get us.
The basis for all this is fear. Look, how much do we tout and talk about the strongest, most precise, badass military in the history of the world? We're gonna let a few migrants roll in and destroy. She said, do we want folks coming here that we don't know who they are, then fighting our army? Maybe we should, because our army whoops everybody's ass. I thought that's what we brag about all the time. We spend trillions of dollars on this army to do all this stuff across the world. But for some reason, if some folks come across the border, then that's the biggest threat in American history. They're gonna come and fight our armies. It's insanity. But the thing is, once you have folks clutching their pearls and afraid of everything that moves, then you can tell them what to be afraid of and then what not to be afraid of. As someone's trying to dismantle our democracy and take over the country and implement some kind of like single person rule, that's not scary at all. What's scary is she goes, I don't know who those folks are. Do you need to be introduced to them? Maybe you know their names, their backgrounds, who their parents and uncles and aunts were. What is it about you that you need to know? Because there's plenty of folks that get stopped at the border still, and they complain about those numbers. The numbers of people getting stopped at the border is what you should be celebrating, because that's what you don't want, is tons of people coming over. Doesn't have to make any sense, just be afraid. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, again, to be charitable to the views of these MAGA people, I think reasonable people, even people who are Democrats, could say every country, a sovereign country deserves to have a border, deserves to regulate who comes in and out, deserves to, have a say in who they make permanent residents and citizens and yada, yada, yada. I don't even think that's like some radical thing to say. However, we should have a process for vetting these people, specifically when they're coming from places in South America, like Venezuela specifically, that the outcomes over there have been greatly dictated by US policy. Our government's policy towards Venezuela has created a lot of these outcomes. And so we're the ones that displace these people, make their living situation so untenable as a government in the first place. The idea that we shouldn't have some people come here to try to escape that, and that they shouldn't be allowed, to be asylum seekers or refugees is absurd to me, right? And the thing is, we are vetting these people. They are trying to make cases and open applications to become legally permanent citizens of America. And so, this lady's fears are basically unfounded, but those kind of fears get stoked a lot over there on the right wing.
A lot of times I see this type of stuff, and the basis for people's arguments and debates and hatred for someone with a different political opinion is that their intention is different. So the intention that they'll tell these folks that people who don't want to, throw up a wall or then have armed guards.
Well, they're just inventing new Democratic voters, Jayar. That's what they like to go with, which again is ridiculous. If you see what Latin males in the state of Florida and even Texas are, how often they're voting Republican these days. So even that argument, they got to throw it in the trash. But that's one of the things they say. They just want to make new Democrats.
Well, the intent, they'll say the intent is that, and that gets people upset and fearful. And the intent on the other side, like our idea of the intent for folks who want to, erect more walls and do all this very violent stuff to folks, is that, they're racist and they just hate people, which, I believe that. But at the same time, in order for something to actually be done, I think a lot of times the assumptions about people's intentions have to be quelled. So that's why many times the questions I would ask these folks is, what do you think we should do? And many times they'll say something violent. But how does that end? Violence begets more violence. And there's folks who don't want to see all this violence or maybe fight back against you because you're being a bully and killing people who really don't have any way to fight back. So we never get anywhere. And I think that's what always ends up happening. We never actually talk. about people's actual intentions and how to come up with a plan. Because sure, there's a problem at the border, but what do we do about it? Why is there a problem at the border? It doesn't ever ask. It just goes, we need to start attacking these people because they're coming to do this, this, and that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's childlike type of opinions to have. So if we actually get into it and let people who can work this do it the right way, maybe we'll get somewhere. But folks in power don't have any intention of trying to get us anywhere.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.